Hey everyone, welcome and thank you for coming to our panel, The Long Story on Short Form. We're the multi-platform content department at Disney TV Animation. Today we're going to walk through our short slate, how we strategize it, write it, direct it, produce it, and we'll screen some shorts to help tell our story. So this is going to be part panel, part short film festival, and part Q&A. If you're not familiar with our shorts, let's watch a quick sizzle to give you a taste.
All right, people, you got this. What can I say about me? I love rainbows and piggies. My hair it flows in the breeze as I look for romance. The merman left me for home, crushed on a guy made of gnomes. Not spending summer alone, so let's go out and dance. I am a go-getter, headband, rainbow sweater. Send me a love letter, make it out to Mabel, baby.
Theme song takeover.
I'm taking over the theme song.
Much better.
Gumtails!
Out of the seat! Okay, a toilet.
Here we go.
I haven't met you, but if you're stable, then here's my number, and call me Mabel.
Hello?
Yeah, hey, Raven, it's Shawn Mendes. Where's the party at? I'm guessing I'm invited.
Cricket, I know it's you again.
Cricket? What kind of silly name is that?
And we'll go deeper on many of those shorts. But first, let's do some introductions. I'm Gino Gazzardo. I started our department 5 years ago, been with Disney for 14. Previously, I ran content teams for the Disney Digital Network, Oh My Disney, our YouTube network, and apps.
Hi, my name is Jenna Hicks, and I'm the line producer for this team. I've been working in animation production for the past 9 years, and I joined this team in 2019 after finishing up on Star vs. the Forces of Evil.
Hi everyone, my name is Dan Siegel. I'm the story editor on the multi-platform team. I came from the live action world where I was producing sketches for College Humor, writing a kid prank show and magic show for DreamWorks, and I'm very happy to be here at Disney TV Animation making crazy shorts with all these fine folks.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Alberghetti, and I'm the director on this team. I started animation in 2004, working on a lot of fun kids shows from Ed, Edd and Eddy to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I've been at Disney now for a few years, working on the Mickey shorts, and now I'm on Chibi Tiny Tales.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm the manager on the team. I've been at TVA for 4 years now. I actually started as an assistant in the current series department, assisting 3 of our wonderful executives. And then I got a job as a coordinator on this team 2 years ago, and it's been an amazing ride ever since.
All right, so we wanted to start by answering the question, why shorts? Why do we make them? What do they do for viewers? What do they do for our studio? To help answer that, I want to take us all the way back to this old chestnut. It was all started by a mouse. And I love this saying, because yeah, it's so inspiring, but it also hides a simple truth in plain sight. Yeah, we like to say it was all started by a mouse, but it was actually started by a short of a mouse. One of the biggest companies in the world was sparked by a small startup creating their first commercial product, a short, which proved to be a powerful medium to introduce characters like these two, develop talent like Ub Iwerks, advance tools like the multi-plane camera, first tested in the old mill, a short in 1937 before being used in Snow White, and ultimately bring our stories to viewers. So today we're essentially doing something similar, but because the world's more complex, so is our slate. I'm going to open it up now to our entire team, or at least part of our team, and we're going to walk through the main projects of our slate. We're going to start with Jenna.
So one unique series of ours is Random Rings. These shorts feature your favorite Disney Channel characters calling people at random. Sometimes it's a wrong number.
Sorry, what?
I'm looking to make a ghost friend.
A ghost friend?
You see, I have lots of activities planned. Wait, are you perhaps a ghost?
What?
Sometimes it's the right number, but with a ridiculous request. When we first came up with the concept for Random Rings, we knew we wanted the calls to feel real, like a true prank call. To achieve this, we decided to record them improv style. As a producer, this meant working with casting to choose the right talent, schedule enough time, and create prompts that would yield the best results. Before every session, we never knew if that day we would get enough material to make a funny short. We would take hours of records, whittle them down into 2-minute calls, and then begin the animation process. In season 1, we focused on characters calling strangers in their own show world, like the time Dr. Doofenshmirtz called a kitten rescue to help him with this crazy rat problem.
I need a kitten right away.
Oh.
I have a big rat problem.
I'm sorry?
I have an enormous rat problem right now, so I need a cat delivered to the house as soon as possible.
In season 2, we started to think bigger and began to have characters calling other worlds. Baymax and Launchpad? Yeah, we went there.
What?
I cannot hang up until you say...
You are satisfied with your care.
You are satisfied with your care.
I am asking if you are satisfied with your care.
My care?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with it?
With what?
Your care.
Well, I still want pizza. Are you sure you can't just make me one?
The great thing about this series is it allows the characters to do things they normally wouldn't get to do on their own shows. This is most obvious with how Random Rings evolved in season 3. In these shorts, the characters are calling the live-action stars from their favorite Disney Channel original movies. Once again, this was a unique challenge for me as I now had to learn how to produce a live-action shoot on top of running our animation pipeline. In the end, the animated voice cast was able to play off the live-action footage, which resulted in some really fun shorts, as you'll get to see in this meetup between Tilly and Grandma from Big City Greens and Trevor Torchman from Zombies.
And now I'll pass to Dan Siegel, who will tell you more about Broken Karaoke.
Hi everyone, my name is Dan and I'm the story editor for the multi-platform team. It looks like we're on a shot of the script. Is it cool if we cut to my face? Oh, there I am. Hi everyone. So I write shorts for the multi-platform team and we love to do weird meta gags like, you're on the script again. I don't understand why you're not on my face. This is so embarrassing. Anyway, I have a very fun job. I get to write scripts and premises for Random Rings, Chibi Tiny Tales, Theme Song Takeover, our variety specials, and I also get to help see those projects through production and post. And today I'm going to be talking to you about one of my absolute favorite anthology series to work on, and that's Broken Karaoke. I know it's not right to pick favorites, but I'm doing it, y'all. So Broken Karaoke is basically our opportunity to do silly song parodies with the animated characters on the Disney Channel. It's very near and dear to my heart because when I was a little kid visiting Disney World, I was obsessed with this bizarre attraction at Epcot called Food Rocks. Don't know who here is a Food Rocks fan, but basically they had song parodies performed by audio animatronic food. There were the Peach Boys singing Good Nutrition and the Refrigerator Police singing Every Bite You Take. When I was a kid, I just thought that was the funniest thing in the world. So now, 28 years later, I feel very fortunate to continue the tradition of ridiculous song parodies at Disney. So what goes into making Broken Karaoke? Well, we get together and ask ourselves a few questions. What are popular songs that we would want to cover? Which Disney characters do we want to hear sing? And who does programming want to promote? And perhaps most importantly, what is a simple, funny hook that ideally does some sort of wordplay with the title of the song? So in the past, we took Queen of Mean from Descendants 2 and made it Queen of Nice with Tilly. We took Call Me Maybe by Carly Rae Jepsen and made it Call Me Mabel with Mabel. And perhaps my favorite Broken Karaoke is when we took Flesh and Bone from Zombies 2 and made it Stuck at Home with Cricket, Tilly, Bill, and Grandma. Again, sorry for picking favorites, but Stuck at Home was such a unique project because it was the first video that we came up with and produced entirely from home at the height of the pandemic. And it was also about the pandemic. It was a chance for people to see these cartoon characters that they love going through the same frustrations that they were going through, having their world flipped upside down. And in order to make Stuck at Home super quickly in just a few months, we had to get a little creative with production. New animation was limited to talking headshots and done by our technical directors internally. We got this great vendor, Curious Media, to do some bouncing ball animation on the lyrics. And we went through every episode of Big City Greens and found shots that we could reuse to match the lyrics. So even though we had to get a little scrappy, our audience really connected with the video and it actually became our biggest hit. It's got over 21 million views on YouTube and it was also Disney Channel's #1 song of the summer. So, without further ado, we'd love to share with you Stuck at Home.
Cricket, be careful!
Dad, it's about to start. Stranded, I've been grounded. The one time I did nothing wrong, and I've never been so bored. That's why I'm singing this here song. I've lost my realm, is my best pal. I long to ride my pig on the freeway.
Brother, I don't think that was ever allowed.
It's not time to go out, must keep my children occupied. If only they publish an endless lockdown parent's guide. No outdoor tasks without our mask. We wash our hands until they're dry as hay.
And I never used to wash my hands.
Feeling just a bit stir crazy, not the best at being lazy. What's today? My brain's gone hazy.
It's Monday.
Maybe Thursday?
This is a declaration. No, we can't stand isolation.
Kids always nagging.
Video chat's lagging.
Said so long I broke my tailbone.
We're going mad 'cause we are stuck at home.
Family, we may be looking at this wrong. With all this separation, we're stuck inside for quite a bit. It's not time to go out, but we can make the best of it. Just read a book or learn to cook, set up an epic maze of dominoes.
Well, when you put it that way, no more fits and whining. I get to watch so much TV.
We'll find the silver lining.
Like throwing my own dance party.
Let's make some art.
Big fruit tart.
Nobody cares if I do not wear clothes.
Oh, Cricket, you still have to wear clothes.
Oh, man. This is a declaration, yeah. We'll get through isolation.
This won't last forever.
We're in this together.
We'll fight through the highs
And the lows.
We'll do our part, don't mind, we're stuck at home. All right, song's over. Clothes are coming off.
Cricket!
Well, that concludes my portion of this presentation. I hope you enjoyed looking at my face in this empty room that I just moved into. Wait, are you on the script again? Seriously? I don't know who's responsible for this, but I am not a fan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina Alberghetti, and I'm the director and story artist for GB Tiny Tales. Now, if any of you haven't heard about these, don't worry, I will get you up to speed. They're basically 1 minute long shorts where we take a bunch of Disney TVA characters and push them into funny situations they don't typically get into in their regular series. We stay true to the Disney brand style, but we still have a strong Japanese chibi influence visually. Here we can see an example of previous shorts we've produced to give you an idea of what our unified style looks like. And since there's no dialogue in our shorts, we do break the character models a lot and use lots of crazy expressions to really convey their emotions. There's a lot of fast-paced scenes and really quick cuts. We also don't work just with cartoons. We do like to chibify Disney Channel original movies, things like Descendants and High School Musical. Sometimes we'll do 1 minute retellings of live action movies like Halloween Town and Zombies. It's definitely a challenge when your characters don't talk, but as an artist, I kind of find it fun to try and condense and simplify these stories into their main emotional beats. My week to week is basically working with this great team. We brainstorm and come up with a bunch of funny premises. And once we have a few general ideas, I'll start thumbnailing, and I have a week to get that rough pass done. Once it's approved by our team leaders, who always have extra helpful, funny gags and thoughts and ideas to add to it, I'll spend the next week cleaning up the storyboard and refining everything, making it a little bit more presentable for the animatic, making it look a little cleaner and tighter. While I'm doing all this, I also work with our art director, and I also sit in on music and sound effects mixes. GB Tiny Tales allows us a lot of super fun crossovers that seem to go over well with our audiences. We've seen Amphibia characters hanging out with characters from Big City Greens, or someone like Scratch knocking on Doof's door for Halloween. It's a really fun way to introduce fans of one series to a series they may not have seen before. It's also a really fun way to include Easter eggs for lots of the DTVA properties we have, and the fans online seem to catch them all, which is rewarding in itself. When we do these crossover episodes, we generally partner with the original creators of each series. We'll get their feedback and input, and we always make sure that we stay true and respectful to their original visions, but we're still able to push their characters in ways they couldn't in their canon worlds. It's probably my favorite part about being on this series. I'm able to meet and collaborate with so many different creatives from around the studio. And speaking of crossovers, I think we might have an exclusive sneak peek we can cut to. I hope you all enjoyed that. Mickey always steals the show, of course. So yeah, that's just one example of the crossover mischief we get into working on Chibi Tiny Tales. We were super honored to be able to work with Walt Disney Animation Studios and Disney Imagineering recently with our Moana short and our Haunted Mansion Molly McGee crossover. These are the first of many more collaborations we hope to be able to produce, and we're super excited to see our chibis grow. And let's be real, pretty much any property can be chibified, so we're looking forward to always doing more. And now I'll pass it back to Gino.
Next up is Theme Song Takeover, where we let fan favorite characters hijack their show's theme songs to make it all about them. And to do this, we remake a show's main title sequence. We rewrite the lyrics and animate it from scratch. Now, this series is especially close to my heart because it was my first idea that I pitched at the studio. So, picture me 5 years ago, a little bit younger, going up to Dan Povenmire, co-creator of Phineas and Ferb, a titan of animation, now you might even say a titan of TikTok, and asking him, hey, you know that theme song for Milo Murphy's Law? The one that you've spent so long perfecting, crafting every single frame? Will you let us mess it up real bad? And to his credit, I still remember this, he said,
"That's not a terrible idea."
Thankfully, it wasn't, and I'm still here, which I'm very happy about. So we've gone on since to produce 8 takeovers. We've reached nearly 40 million views on YouTube. It's gone on TV. It's gone on our Disney Now app as well. Hopefully it'll go other places. And it's really been such a joy to work with the EPs and explore this format and this idea as a vehicle for showing a show, showing a series in different ways, like filling in story gaps for Marcy and Sasha's journeys in Amphibia.
Woke up in Utopia, where I fell down a flight of stairs.
Experimenting with different art styles. And ultimately, taking something familiar and finding ways to still surprise us with it.
What is Slatscud?
So let's take a look at what happens when Shorty stands in for Rapunzel.
Hey, Shorty, have you seen my journal?
No, but I am seeing those giant floating words behind us. Theme song Takio Vare. Ooh la la.
Get some rest, Shorty. Now, where is that journal?
Oh, a journal. Must be mine. Okay, Shorty, this is it. Time to let your mouth give voice to your heart. I got the wind in my beard and an ache in my gut 'cause I ate boiled halibut. I got a goat who is treasured by all and revered. My heart is gentle as silk. I love taking baths and goat milk. It's not weird. Hey, this toe jam just appeared. I got wind in my beard. What happened to the music?
Shorty, you found my journal.
Huh? This is yours because, yes, I've found it.
When did I draw all these random goats? Ugh, and why does my journal smell like fish?
Beats me.
Hi, everyone. I'm here to talk to you guys about our variety specials. Last year, we produced our first variety special, Shorts Giving with Big City Greens.
Hello, is this thing on? Ladies and gentlemen, pigs and goats, welcome to the first ever Shorts Giving!
You can watch it all month long on Disney Channel, as well as Disney Now and the Disney YouTube page. Our variety specials are really just a way of showcasing our content in a different format. A lot of our shorts are very short. Our chibi tiny tales are just a minute long. So in order to watch a bunch of them, you're really just clicking through a bunch of different YouTube pages for a while. And variety specials really give us that way to produce something that's a little bit longer. Each special is 22 minutes long. We produced Shorts-tober with Big City Greens this year as well. It was our first Halloween special, and it was a chance for us to get all of our spooky Halloween-related content together and showcase it for the fans.
Let's see, do we have the eyeballs of an owl?
No. Heart of a frog?
No.
A human skeleton?
Let me get my shovel.
Excuse me?
Each special has its own little through line, so you're not just sitting there watching a bunch of shorts together. It's not a compilation or a clip show. It really is a special. So each special has a reason for being, a reason why the hosts are there talking to you, and a reason for you to stay all the way to the end. So in Shorts-tober, Cricket and Tilly are trying to summon a ghost. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it and find out if they do. And in Shorts Giving, they're just really waiting for the turkey to be done. And we all know Thanksgiving turkeys can be a little tough to make.
Yay!
Ma!
Bill, how long you cook this turkey for? The meat's too tough.
Hey, let's eat it off the sword. Whoa.
Well, I'm thankful for pizza delivery.
We're also really excited that we'll be having some new variety specials coming out in this coming year. So please, if you have any shorts related puns, please leave them for me in the chat during the Q&A. I would love to read them. And speaking of Q&A, please stick around. We have a live Q&A right after this. We really wanted to showcase one person from each of our business segments here on our team. So whatever you're passionate about, hopefully we can answer those questions for you. Please ask your questions. And also, we just want to give one big shout out to the rest of our team. Not everyone on our team is here today, but we have an amazing team that really helps bring all of these shorts and specials together. So shout out to them. Thank you guys so much for working so hard on all of our content, and we'll see you in the Q&A. And we're back. Thanks everyone for coming. I'm Victoria. Like I said, I'm the manager on the multi-platform team. We're actually just going to do some quick introductions. Make sure you put your questions in the Q&A for us. That's going to be the easiest place for me to find them. And I'll pass it over to Gino.
Hello, thanks for watching. Thanks for being with us. I'm Gino Gazzardo, so I lead the department. And we thought it'd also be helpful to talk a little bit about our backgrounds and how we got here. My background is a little bit less linear than most. I got into storytelling in high school. That's where I really loved creating a scene and character performance and the pacing, comedy and all that. And then in college, focused on visual arts, drawing and painting, portraiture, life drawing, that kind of stuff. And when I graduated, bounced around between, I found myself producing educational videos at one point, doing a lot of freelance graphic design, making websites, and strangely, out of the way, despite the art background and everything, the thing that got me into Disney was making websites. So I was producing websites for Disney.com and Disney Channel, and then once I was hired, I just looked for opportunities to weave myself back into storytelling and taking visual arts and story and kind of merging them, and that's my two interests from high school and college really kind of coming back together, and that's animation. So kind of weaved around about, but I think I ended up in a happy place.
And Jenna, I'm just gonna call on people.
That works great. Hi, I'm Jenna Hicks. I'm the line producer for this team. The way I got started is a little weird as well. I actually came to LA to do grad school at USC. And so what that was a focus in film and television production and writing. I'd always been interested in animation. I loved like Disney everything, and non-Disney animation as well. But there wasn't a lot of crossover between the animation program and the production program. So in my final year, you're assigned a mentor, and I was lucky enough to be assigned someone from Pixar. So when I met with her and went up to Pixar to meet with her and her team, she talked about how they're very collaborative, and she actually walked through the way they produce their shorts, which ironically is very similar to the way we produce our shorts, with everybody, you know, contributing. And so I was like, oh, so even though I have zero artistic talent, this isn't a dead end for me. So when I graduated, I started applying to some jobs at TVA, and I was lucky enough to start as a secretary and have been here ever since.
And Dan.
I'll start by saying that Jenna has a lot of artistic talent, and I think we take a lot of pride on our team that we're all super collaborative, brainstorming ideas together. But anyway, I'm Dan. I'm the story editor. I guess I like got really into sketch comedy and stand-up comedy in college, and that sort of led to me working in production at College Humor, which led to me writing on a late night comedy show for MTV. And eventually I ended up at Disney Interactive working with Gino on series like As Told by Emoji and this fun little project called A Tsum Tsum Kingdom. If you guys remember Disney Tsum Tsum plushies, we turned them into puppets and made a nature documentary with them. And that ultimately led to me coming to TV animation. I've only been working in animation now for a few years, but I really love it here and feel lucky to have found this path. I'm gonna pass it to Victoria.
Oh, I'm supposed to go last. It's Sabrina next. Dan.
All right, Sabrina, I'm sorry, I messed up the order.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina. I am the storyboard artist and director on this team. And I got my start kind of like most artists back in the day. Always drawing since I was little. I'm actually Canadian. I went to Sheridan College in the Toronto area. And once I graduated there, I eventually started working. I did a test and I started working on Ed, Edd n Eddy. Not to date myself or anything, but I've been doing this for a while. And I worked in Vancouver, Canada on the West Coast for about 14 years in animation. I worked on like a whole bunch of kid shows. Some of the bigger ones, you know, were like My Little Pony, like I mentioned earlier. And oh my gosh, there's so many I can't even remember, but I've basically been doing storyboards for a long time. And I eventually made my way down to the US and I started working at Disney a few years ago. I took on a revision job for the Mickey Mouse Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse shorts because I was getting kind of tired, but I still wanted to do storyboarding. So I worked with them for a while. And while I was on break, the multi-platform team stole me away to do a Chibi Tiny Tales short for Phineas and Ferb, and I guess they liked me enough that they kind of stole me away, and now I am officially with these guys for a while now, and that's pretty much how I got here.
Awesome. And I'm, like I said, I'm Victoria. I'm the manager on the team. I actually started as an assistant here at TVA. I was an assistant in the current series department to 3 of our executives. And I basically just stalked Gino for a while to get this job. I like had a ton of coffees with them. I just really, you know, I learned about the shorts and that these things existed. And I was really passionate about getting to be on the team and getting to learn about how short form gets made and what the differences are between like short form and normal linear content, all that stuff. So yeah, I heard he might have a coordinator position opening. And so I made a point of getting to know everyone on the team and really just sought it out. It became this thing that I was like, I really want to learn about this. And the best way to learn about it is to do it. So I was very lucky that they ended up hiring me, and I've been on the team for almost 2 years now. So yeah. We've got a ton of questions in the chat, so please keep them coming. I want to start with an easy one though. What is everyone's favorite piece of content that they've worked on while being on this team? And we can start with Jenna.
That is very hard. I personally feel very connected to the Chibi shorts. So probably those, and all-time favorite. I really liked the Moana one. I'm a princess junkie, so getting to do that was like a highlight of my life and very exciting. And our team just made it so beautiful. Like the water, all the art, everything is just gorgeous. So that is probably my very favorite one.
Cool. And Gino.
Oh, I was hoping I was going to go before Dan because we might have the same answer. The DuckTales podcast, This Duckburg Life. It's a podcast. Why is an animation studio doing a podcast? But still, it was just such an exciting project that we saw an opportunity to extend the world of DuckTales and tell new stories in a different way that you couldn't tell in a visual format. And it really stretched our capabilities as a team. We had to learn how to write a podcast, produce a podcast, but also really benefit from all of the disciplines and all the departments within the studio to really help. But yeah, I'm really proud of it because it's indicative of our team like trying to be on the edge and finding new opportunities and creating, extending our stories in ways that you might be surprised by, in ways that we don't, have a long history of.
Dan?
Well, I guess I said Stuck at Home in the presentation was my favorite, but I'll also add the Marcy theme song Takeover that we just did. I'm really proud of that one. It was so fun to work with Matt Brawley on sort of like expanding the canon of the show. I'm such a fan of Amphibia. Our amazing board artist, Danny Ducker, just totally killed it. And we're so excited to see how much the fans have really been loving that one.
And Dan, before we move on, who came up with the line, I hope nothing bad ever happens to me? Was that you or was that Matt?
Oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure that was an idea from Matt in like an early brainstorm. And then it was a matter of figuring out what is the lyric that's going to work in the song. But yeah, apologies to anyone who was upset about that joke.
Awesome. Sabrina?
Obviously anything Chibi Tiny Tales, that's the thing I work on. But probably my favorite, oh my gosh. I'd probably have to say it's a tie with Jenna with Moana, because we finally got to work with Walt Disney Animation Studios, and that was huge that they like trusted us with their property and we just like killed it, and it was so good. But I also am biased towards the Molly McGee and Haunted Mansion crossover as well. Working with Imagineering was like, I don't know, like I get to draw Haunted Mansion chibis. Like it's the cutest thing ever. I mean, that's probably my favorite so far. But it's like, you can't pick a favorite. Come on.
Oh, I can pick a favorite. So mine, this is actually really near and dear to my heart. My favorite is the Random Rings Area 51 short, mostly because I pitched it when I was an assistant. I jokingly emailed Gino one day and was just like, wouldn't it be funny if Cricket and Tilly called and like a comic book store called Area 51 thinking it was the real Area 51? And I like completely meant it as a joke, and he took it for what it was, which was me desperately wanting to be part of this team as like in any way possible. And they ended up pitching it to the Houghtons, and then we produced it, and I got to shadow on it while I was an assistant. So it was a really great way for me to like learn about this team and get to be part of it. Sweet. So we will move to the Q&A. Okay, this is I guess more for Gino. Pandemic pivoting aside, how far out are shorts planned?
In the before times, well, yeah, I mean, what's nice about shorts are they can be produced faster. It's a shorter runtime. Sometimes if it's especially if it's a chibi, it's a minute versus a 22-minute episode of something. So we can react opportunistically if the audience is really excited about something, we see fan trends are talking about a certain theme, or there's just a need to have a piece of content that we didn't anticipate and the company didn't anticipate. We can quickly race to do something like that. And sometimes those are the constraint of time sometimes forces us to get extra creative and think outside the box and make something that we probably wouldn't have otherwise. Stuck at Home, that was during the pandemic, but that's a good example of that. But traditionally, we would like at least 6 months or longer. Jenna, does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we first started out, it was kind of like, oh, we have an idea like for a broken karaoke, and we do the first one, and it's sort of almost like a pilot process, and we see how long it takes, to achieve that. And then moving forward, like, oh, well, the first one was really small. What if we made it bigger, more characters, more voices? And we are constantly adjusting based on creatively what we want to do. But yeah, now that we have our pipelines, I would say that we do plan out before we start, creatively. We start out like 6 weeks before boarding, coming up with the ideas that we want to do.
Awesome. For Dan and Sabrina, since you guys both work in like the creative fields, when you guys were just starting out, did you guys write and draw a lot? Were you guys like, did you guys take a bunch of classes? Like, what was your early career like for you two?
I guess I'm going first. Like I said, like I drew every day like most kids, and I drew all the time. And I'm sorry, I'm like lost. I don't know. It's just what I've always done, and nothing's really changed, really.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a fan of thinking. I know some people are, but like I don't set like page counts for myself every day. I'm more like, what is a project that I feel really excited about and passionate about, and then sometimes it's good to like set deadlines for yourself and hold yourself accountable to get it done. But yeah, I would sort of say like come up with like an idea that you want to see through. Tell yourself, by the end of this month, I'm going to have like an outline. Maybe have like a friend who can help hold you accountable or like give you notes on it. But yeah, I'm always most excited when there's like an idea that I just want to see come to fruition, and yeah, I don't get too hung up on like how many hours every day are spent on it.
Yeah, I think for me too, it's just I don't really even have time to really draw for myself anymore while I'm doing full time. It's exhausting for sure, to try and balance, what you want to do for fun, what you want to draw for fun versus what you have to draw for a deadline. But every so often I'll find some time, and I think creatively, I'm just tapped. So a lot of time I'll just try and find like an hour or two to just do fan art, even if I can't think of anything to draw original. It just keeps my kind of flow going, and it keeps me just practicing even when I'm not, doing it for work. But I don't have like a set, I'm going to do this week, this next week. Basically, I just work for my work deadlines.
Cool. This might be more for Jenna. How many people work on each of our series, and how long does the pipeline take? Like how many weeks or months?
So currently we have a team of 12. That's our baseline that we always have. But of course, with our slate being so large, we are always looking to borrow from other series and have other people help us out, freelance, all that kind of stuff. So we have a core team of 12, but pretty much every project is going to have a design team on it, a character designer, prop designer, location, BG Paint, as well as a storyboard artist or director. And then we move forward from there. Each of our pipelines are different amounts of time because they are more or less involved. They're going to different vendor studios, some we're doing here. But I would say probably like 6 months or so is pretty standard for how we produce.
Cool. For all of us, we work on a lot of different projects. Not all of them make it to air. What do you do when how do you overcome those feelings of sadness when something either gets rejected or passed upon or whatever? Gino, Dan, I feel like it happens to you two the most.
You don't. You are sad, and it's okay to feel sad for, I don't know, 12 hours, and then you move on. I mean, it like just comes with the territory. When you're creative, you're gonna like come up with ideas you're really passionate about. Not all of them are going to work out, and if I pitch something that I'm really excited about and it doesn't end up working out, I just have to remind myself like how fortunate I am to get to be like working with all these great people to make creative work, and something else will work out instead. But it's okay. It's okay to like be a little bummed out if you are passionate about something and it gets shut down.
Yeah, and then I 100% agree with all of that. The emotional side of that, it's definitely a journey to kind of, if you fall in love with an idea, to crawl yourself out. This is a little cliche, but I like to find the learning in it. Like, okay, why did it not happen? Creatively, was something off the mark? Was the timing wrong? Was the, we obviously, we don't just make whatever we want. We have to, we have a lot of stakeholders. There's, especially when we're working inside someone else's show in someone else's world, like there's a lot of conversations that happen. And, so I try to get at least a little bit of learning. So for next time. So, and if a project tanks, a short tanks, but we've learned something, then that helps me emotionally, at least feel like, well, we wasted however long, but at least we have some product of, some knowledge out of it.
Cool. This might be again more for Gino. What new technology have you worked on? Or, and I know where this is going. So
I saw the chat and I was like, oh, I hope we ask that. Well, I would say just in general, shorts as an experimental laboratory is just, they've always been kind of used like that. And we very much, embrace that. But also not just the technology, but the how we make it. Jenna earlier was talking about the using improv, which is not necessarily new to other studios. Other people have used improv to drive a story, to drive animation, but we haven't really done much of that, if anything. I don't know at the studio for us. So it just, Random Rings created this opportunity to use a different workflow and a different process to experiment with. As far as technology, we partnered with a very talented producer, Andy Wood, and his crew to create Baymax Dreams and experiment with. It was a set of shorts with Baymax, what happens when he's recharging and what's kind of what are his dreams, what does he think about? And we used real-time technology. And so we're experimenting with Unity, with Unreal, and playing with how that workflow allows you to create content that is faster, potentially cheaper, and has like a really good look to it, and you just kind of see it immediately. So it's a really exciting experiment that we did, and the content itself, you can YouTube it, Baymax Dreams. We're just really proud of it. So that's a good example. We've also used other technologies and are always up to experimenting.
Awesome. How is the pitch process like? Obviously, each show is different. We work with a lot of different creators. How does this pitch process differ from like something in development or just a normal current series show?
I guess I can speak to once like a series is already greenlit and we're developing shorts. Basically, we'll often just have like a group brainstorm where we talk about ideas. I'll sort of figure out like which idea is resonating the most, and often maybe just like write an outline or script on spec, share it with all these folks. Once these folks sign off, we then are making sure that the creators of the characters that are in that particular piece sign off, and then it's a matter of getting distributed for approval from legal department, standards and practice, and yeah, once everyone signs off, I guess it goes into production. I don't know if I did a good job answering the question, but then there's, I guess, a lot more steps to initially establish like a new format, like theme song takeover, broken karaoke. So that I would say is a different pitch process.
Yeah, and most of the shorts for our anthology series, we brainstorm and we come up with those ideas internally. A lot of times we do work with the creators and they'll give us, hey, in season 3, this happened, so maybe don't do that. And we're like, okay, great. Or they'll tell us things that they didn't get to do in their series that they would love to see done. Especially in things like theme song takeover, the Marcy and Sasha theme song takeovers. Obviously, Dan worked really well with Matt to kind of incorporate Easter eggs and different plot points that like just weren't touched on. And most of the fans saw them. So that was great. Awesome. We're almost at time, so I'm going to take 2 more questions. Let's see. For Sabrina, how do you approach the challenge of crunching down a story into a minute without losing the audience?
It's not easy. Usually if I'm doing a retelling of a live action movie, obviously I'll watch the movie. If I haven't seen it, if I've seen it, I'll watch it again for a refresher. And I kind of have this weird system where I will go through the movie and screen cap certain points in the movie and just make like a Photoshop file and just have screen caps from major moments or emotional beats or whatever, just so that they're clear in my mind when I'm going back to storyboard and to make sure that I hit them. I don't know if I'm always successful, but I try my darndest to get across the most important stuff. And I think for people who have seen the movies, it's definitely easier for them to maybe understand what's going on, as opposed to if they haven't seen it. Like example, Zombies 2 is such a huge story. There's so many elements to it that I obviously can't fit into a 1 minute short. But again, I try to get the main points, and just having like the visuals on hand while I'm boarding off to the side really helps me stay focused and just make sure I hit the right moments to tell the story.
Dan, obviously these most of our shorts are very funny. How do you workshop the jokes? Do you ever get sad when we don't laugh at a joke? You can be honest.
I never get sad ever. No, I don't necessarily know how to answer that question. I mean, one of the great things about this particular job is we just get to play in all these different sandboxes, and the characters are already so funny and have such great points of views. And like once you like watch it, we watch cartoons all the time for research, obviously. And I think once you really start to get to know the characters, sometimes this feels a little cliche, but sometimes you like think of a situation, you just kind of like know what the character is going to say, and the character sort of like starts talking for you. So I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but yeah, we are constantly always like joking with each other, like on Slack as we go about our day. So I think we just sort of like foster like a fun, creative community constantly, and that kind of helps when you have to be funny on the page.
Cool. And then this is just our last question for everyone, so everyone give their answer. What's a piece of advice you would give someone who's looking to break into the industry, either in whatever role that you are currently in? So writing, art, producing, whatever. And we'll start with Sabrina.
Such a tough question for artists. Everyone's journey is so different. I think the main thing is to just keep drawing and hone your craft and your skill and be inspired by other artists online. Don't get down when you see someone who's better than you or whatever. Just be inspired by them and just push yourself, and apply to studios. And if you get rejected, it happens to a lot of people. It has happened to me. I didn't land every job I ever wanted to get. Some jobs I got lucky with, and some jobs I, really had to work for. Just apply to studios, apply for the positions that you are the strongest in. So if you want to be a storyboard artist, don't apply for a character design job, because you want to be able to show what your strengths are in your portfolio. And most typically studios have tests. And if you are able to get a test from them, do the test. And again, if you're not accepted on the first try again. It took me a long time to get where I was. It didn't just come. And I know it sucks to be rejected. Like nobody likes being told no for like a dream project, but there's always going to be a new show like 6 months down the road that you didn't even know existed that you might be a better fit for. So just keep trying. And as hard as it sounds, like just try not to get too down when you do get a no from a studio. Just keep pushing. You will find your foot in a door eventually, for sure.
Dan.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like advice goes, I'm like a big believer in the whole just like work hard and be nice to people. I think that goes a long way. But yeah, I don't know if I have much more to add to that. Jenna, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. It's well answered. I would say just maybe from the perspective of someone who's hiring, just looking at, it's just really important to see the work and the portfolio and a range of stuff, because you never know what the immediate need is gonna be for whatever the gig is, whatever the role is. So yeah, being on this side of it, that's just the first question, is like before we're even meeting with somebody, just looking at like, well, what is the work, and then from the other side, as someone who in the past has like created, just making mistakes and getting yourself out there and not being too afraid about being precious. Like, is this good enough to go out? Because perfect is enemy of the good, right? Just get it out there, take the feedback, especially on Instagram and Twitter and all that. Like, you see what the audience is responding to, and use that feedback to maybe hone your craft and see what it's engaging.
And for production, kind of a little different advice, I would say, but I would just say to take every possible opportunity to work on a crew that you can. Like when I was first starting out, I'm sure this is not a safe thing that is done anymore, but like I would go on Craigslist and people who were like, I need a PA for this weekend, all that kind of stuff. Like I worked on Rock of Love 3, and I've worked on, the CW on 90210. I did it all. And that helped me, one, learn production knowledge, which luckily translates to pretty much every medium. You learn how to be organized, you know how to be part of a crew, you know how to keep things running, which is great. And then it also helps you learn, like, what medium do I actually want to work in? Because there are so many avenues, like in this day and age, to sound like an old lady, but there's so many different mediums to work in. So it helps you find like, okay, I want to do this. And then you can really dedicate all your energy behind that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Jenna. When I was an assistant, I'm from Florida, I'm not from California. So when I moved out here, in film school, I'd been told like, you can be a producer or a director or a writer, and like, that's it. And I had never even considered animation before. And then I moved out here and got an assistant position and realized like, oh, there's these creative executive roles, there's these development executive roles, like there's other things I could do that had never been explained to me. I had no idea they existed. And I wouldn't have learned that if I hadn't have been an assistant. So each of my assistant jobs, I really just like took that as an opportunity to learn more about specific segments of the industry. I started at a film production studio, then I moved to a television production studio, and then I got a job here at Disney. And that was the first time I learned like there's short form team that exists and I can do shorts. So yeah, take every job you have as a learning experience, because it's going to get you to what you're going to do next, even if you don't know that role exists yet. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We just have 2 minutes left. So I just want to say thank you guys for coming to our panel. We really appreciate all of your questions. I'm so sorry if we didn't get to yours. We had limited time. We also have more panels this week. Yay, Todd. Todd's our tech behind the scenes guy. So there's another panel today, tuning in at 2 p.m. And then we have another panel tomorrow, The Art of the Ghost and Molly McGee. If you haven't been watching Molly, it's the best show. I love it so much. So please check it out. Thank you guys again. Thanks for coming, and we'll talk to you soon. Oh, and stream all of our content on the Disney Channel YouTube page. Thank you.